everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having an amazing weekend and you're not quite as cold as I am here right now. If you watch the Chicken and Garden update, and I know I try and put the Chicken and Garden update up after the Sunday musing, this weekend it's the other way around for a good reason, namely that when I recorded the Chicken and Garden update it was very cold. Now it's just moderately cold before tonight, where it's apparently going to freeze brass monkeys and maybe certain parts of brass monkeys. It's a British phrase. If you don't know it, don't bother go looking it up because it's not a very, no. I shouldn't have said anything. Bad Nikki. Anyway, I have been out in this weather today because I've been filming an update to the Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 SUV review. I went out twice, once to actually film it and then to go back out again and get B-roll because the cameras got so cold they stopped working, and I just had to buy, I think, $400 worth of new batteries for the GoPros because all of the GoPro batteries we have, all 10 batteries for the GoPro 9s and all 5 for the GoPro 8s are now so old and decrepit they last maybe long enough to do a Sunday musing, and that's about it. So I better get on with the Sunday musing. Today I want to talk to you about Tesla opening up its supercharger network, which is fantastic news. Obviously, it's already done that in Europe. Most of the European superchargers are now easily accessible to anybody with a CCS equipped car. You just download the Tesla app and you pay to charge at a supercharger just as you would at any other charger. The difference is obviously it's a Tesla supercharger, so it's far, far more reliable, which is lovely. I have heard rumours as of recording this that there are now some charging stations in North America that are opening up. The announcement was made last week that that would happen, and apparently there's already been some successful test chargers using CCS equipped vehicles. I saw a photo online showing a Rivian charging at a Tesla supercharger, so that's really exciting news, and I think it's great news for all EV owners that Tesla is going to open up its supercharger network and allow CCS compatible vehicles. It will certainly make it easier for me to drive my Ford F-150 Lightning. It will make it easier for my partner to drive her Chevrolet Bolt EV, and it will just make it easier full stop to do long distance trips. I think long term it may result in queues happening at Tesla superchargers, and that may or may not end well. Which brings me to the topic of today's video. So I think while it's fair to say that the majority of Tesla owners, and I do want to underscore here in big bold letters that the majority of Tesla owners think that this is a fantastic piece of news and it's great news and yay Tesla, there have been a small but vocal minority of Tesla owners who appear upset that Tesla is opening up its supercharger network to other non-Tesla EVs. And the reasoning is that, well, these other networks are so terrible and so unreliable that everyone is just going to flock to Tesla, and that's going to include queues, or rather induce queues at superchargers. And that is going to be bad for Tesla owners because now, instead of just turning up and charging, which has been the supercharger experience at less frequented superchargers, a lot of owners, or not a lot, actually, a minority of Tesla owners are saying, well, no, that means that when I turn up, I'm going to have to queue behind someone in a slower EV that charges more slowly. Why should I do that? I paid a lot of money up front to buy a Tesla. I've maybe supported the company for a really long time. I purchased this vehicle specifically because of the supercharging, and specifically because supercharging was advertised to me by Tesla as being a perk of owning a Tesla, and I could just turn up and charge and get on my way. And the minority, this small group, are saying Tesla should give us money because we subsidized the Tesla network. Tesla's always said that superchargers were subsidized by the purchase of cars And initially, supercharging was subsidized by people buying cars. Obviously, now Tesla does charge for supercharging, unless you're one of those lucky people with a legacy, what I will call a legacy Model S or Model X that you purchased with free supercharging for life, and that has obviously still got free supercharging for life, so you're charging still for free at superchargers. But the majority of Tesla owners now, I think it's fair to say, are paying for the supercharger use. Nevertheless, as a consequence of funding in Europe that encouraged Tesla to open up its network, and we need to be really clear here, if it wasn't for mandates in Europe, and if it wasn't for federal dollars here in the US, I think Tesla would still have a closed network. But the fact that it's opening up is really good. Tesla is going to financially benefit from all of those extra dollars that are being made available by the federal government to networks who operate EV charging that is brand agnostic, that is connector agnostic, and that has an uptime of 97% or better. And Tesla is the only one right now that can achieve that uptime. And connectors are easy to implement. So for owners to get upset, and as I say, I keep emphasizing this because I know otherwise we're just going to get loads of hate. It is just a very small but vocal minority. And so I am curious, do you think that Tesla should offer something to those customers, those early customers who went, hey, we helped build this network financially, how about giving us back some of the money we invested? Or are they just whiny? I obviously, as you might think, I am erring towards the side of, come on, guys, don't be a dick. Be nice to other people. If I helped invest in a network and that network had become so reliable and such a gold standard for EV charging, I would be more than happy that other people were getting to benefit from it, with one caveat, with one rider, and that is that Tesla continues to invest in its network, continues to expand its network, and continues to plow money back into the supercharger network. Now, I hope that Tesla does that. There's no evidence to suggest it won't. There's also no evidence to suggest that it will. I am hopeful. I am hopeful that the right thing will be done, and that at the end of the day, we are fighting something as an EV community that is much larger than who has the best car or who has the best charging network, and that is anthropogenic climate change. And I know I'm standing here on a really cold day, the coldest day I've ever had since I've lived here, and I'm talking about anthropogenic climate change, but honestly, some of the cold snaps that we've been seeing lately are the result of an unstable jet stream, and air that would have traditionally stayed over more northern regions of the planet are being pulled further south because the oceans are very, very hot. It's upsetting the jet stream. And so this is also part of anthropogenic climate change. So, I feel that is the thing that we should all be fighting about. We should be fighting to try and combat, rather than this. Chelsea Sexton has called it the circular firing squad, and I've seen it plenty of times before in the EV world. It's actually made me want to quit both EV reporting and anything publicly to do with EVs, and just to drive my vehicles personally. I don't know, go and do something completely unrelated. And that is a strong drive these days for me. Because I've had enough of it, the infighting and the meanness. If you don't subscribe to one particular vehicle, you're a terrible person. Or if you're not willing to pile on anybody who isn't one particular brand or one particular person. But I'm not going to go into that right now in this video. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below. Should Tesla be giving those early owners some money, some recompense for what they've done and helped get this network where it is? Or alternatively, Should we just be, you know, doing what I think we should be doing, which is going, great, this is expanding the network, this is making EVs more accessible to everybody. We should make sure that the networks don't overcharge, and I think there are some networks, other than Tesla, by the way, who are charging a lot of money for a substandard service, both here in North America and also in Europe and in other parts of the world. I feel that maybe that is a more important thing, as well as what I previously said, anthropogenic climate change. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to say goodbye, and then I'm going to go back inside because I've lost all feeling in my face. I should have worn the hat that I was wearing earlier. You should all know that you are all amazing, and if you want to carry on supporting us, you can do so by following the links below, both to Bitcoin and Ko-fi if you want to do a one-off, or you can join us with a Patreon membership or a YouTube subscription. Don't also forget to click the Discord link because it's great fun in the Discord, very civil discussion. While I'm at it, we've had to ban a few more people this week in the comments, just people just being really obnoxious. If you say something once and you have a respectful conversation with other people, great. But if you keep saying the same thing in a million different posts, you will be banned because you will be effectively comment spamming even. And to quote Monty Python, I don't like spam. Although I actually quite like spam. Anyway, scrolling on my right is the list of amazing charged up supporters, and shout outs go out to our self-driving tier supporters. They are Mike Weeder, Tony Moss, Linda Irish, Sean Tucker, Patrick Boyarsky, Paul Nelson, Chris Maxwell, Brian Newton, Michael Goad, Bennett Elder, Andrew Martin, Pedro Muro Pinheiro, Brophy Wolf, Chris and Michael Johnson, Tesla in the Gong, Dan Blair, Peter Dillinger, Gordon C, Stephen O'Donoghue, Carl Hodgson, Anthony Coates, Regine Fellows, Denny Hyde, Chris Centaur and Jim Burness. Finally, out of this world, thanks to our Starman level supporters. They are Robert Flannery, CPU Freak 101, Andrew Glenn, Anonymous Freak, JP Fagerback, Joe Bresney, John Lyons, Rory Litwin, Kevin Burbage, Dave Kitchen, Aaron Hahn, Laura Reynolds, Marcel Ward, Matthew Drobneck, Paul Conway, Reggie Watts, Will Graylin and Ian. I apologise for the wind, which I'm sure is present in my microphone. It has been so windy today and I will do my best to get rid of the noise. But again, I know someone will complain. We are only human and it's very, very cold. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving.